Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Local Homeschoolers podcast, where you come for local resources and encouragement. I am your host, Autumn Frisbee. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast today. We have Jennifer Marseille with us today, and she is a local Palm Beach County homeschool mom of 8 years, and she has come on here today to share her story. So welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Hi, Autumn. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. So let's start off by talking a little bit about your family, your kids and their ages.
Sure. So, my husband and I have 4 daughters. They are ages 12, 10, 8, and 5. And we have been homeschooling since the oldest was in kindergarten.
Okay. So you've been homeschooling since then. And what led to your decision to homeschool?
Well, Autumn, actually, it started with my own education journey. I was in public school most of my life, and it was fine. I was a very motivated student, so I did really well. However, when I was in high school, my parents got this idea about homeschooling, and I was like, sure, let's try it out, and I just fell in love with it. I loved it being so flexible and being able to learn at my own pace. And I felt like I was learning not just to pass a test, but to really just enjoy the education part of it, to just really sit and be able to really study whatever I felt like studying. And I had a good curriculum, but I just really enjoyed it myself. So I always had that desire. One day I would love to be able to homeschool my kids.
Oh, that's really great. So you homeschooled throughout your whole high school
Uh,
years then?
I actually, so back a long time ago when I was in high school, it was a little different from how it is now. And my mom wasn't quite sure about how to get me help me get me into college. And
Hmm.
so she had me. She said, I feel like you should go back to public school for your senior year. And so I did go back. However, I really missed the freedom of homeschooling. So yeah.
Okay. So did you have any concerns then, since you kind of always wanted to homeschool?
You know what? My biggest concerns were, for some reason, teaching a child how to read was very scary for me. That idea
Hmm.
of being in charge of that, because it seems, so uber important. And also math. I was a little bit terrified of math,
Hmm.
teaching math. But wow, it's been a journey, but we've everybody knows how to read here, so that's good.
And from your experience, did it take a lot of different things to get each child to read?
Believe it or not, I've actually stuck with the same curriculum for kindergarten for all 4 children. So it must have worked well. The one that I chose, I don't know if you want me to say it, but
Yes, I think that would be great. Thank you.
okay, I actually use it's called My Father's World. It is a religious curriculum. But the thing that I think that is so wonderful about it is it's very gentle, and it teaches them the letter sounds and how to put them together in a very systematic way. But also, and it brings in nature studies and art and bring it all together. Good read alouds, but it's really also very simple for the mom to do. So it was a very easy way for me to kind of get into homeschooling. And each child just has done really well. My youngest is still in that program, and she's loved it too. So
Any other curriculum you can recommend?
yes. So there's another one, Explode the Code. That's another great one for it practices reading, a lot of repetition with reading and the different letter sounds, not just letter sounds, but when you get into higher level like digraphs and putting those letters together. But it also helps reinforce spelling as well. And what I love about it is it's very inexpensive. I mean, the workbooks are, less than $10. So those have helped a lot. I've really personally, and my family too, we've really enjoyed Read Aloud Revival. They don't have a curriculum, but it's she has a podcast, and then they also have a membership that you can subscribe to, and they have different read alouds where that you're reading together as a family, and then later you actually get to sometimes do video calls with authors of these books. They have different writing workshops, different things like that, so we've really enjoyed that as well. What's another one? Just getting together with other homeschool moms has been really helpful too.
Okay, so making sure you're connecting with other homeschool families.
Yes, that's very important.
And what is your advice on choosing curriculum? Because having 4 girls, are they all kind of into the same thing, or are they using different curriculums as you move across each year?
Another reason why I chose my father's world is once you get to like second or third grade, the whole family can do it together. And so I thought that would be great because I have so many. And one year we studied the whole world together. There's a year in there where you study United States history together. And so that was really great. However, like you said, they're all also very different. And so as they've gotten older and have shown more of their personalities, I can kind of tailor that, and even if I'm using the same curriculum, just make it a little bit different for each child. For example, one child really likes diagramming sentences, so I will have her diagram her sentences. However, another one does not do. She's not into that, and so at this point, I'm not having her do that. So you can, you have the freedom to be able to see what works for each child.
Yeah, and that freedom is the greatest thing about homeschooling. And the
So.
next kind of question I know that you probably get a lot is, how do you structure your day with 4 kids? How do you kind of manage your time as a homeschool mom and all the other aspects of your life as well?
So I personally get up before my kids. I think that gives me some time to at least get myself, ready for the day. And however, that's been a work in progress too. I am not a super organized person, just out of my own personality. However, out of necessity, I have become more organized over the years. And it actually was during, 2020 when we were staying home more, that my kids were like, "Mom, this was the first time that we felt so organized and we finished all of our curriculum." And so that helped us. That year of like staying home actually helped us because I got a good rhythm. What has really been really helpful is making a list for each child for what they need to do each day. And so especially in the elementary years, they're able to go through and go down a checklist. Yes, I did my math. Yes, I did my English. Yes, I did my typing or whatever. So now that my oldest is in middle school, she actually has taken that job upon herself, where she'll sit down at the beginning of the week and say, okay, here's what I need to do, and she breaks it up in the way that she wants to, and then I'm going behind her making sure that it gets done.
That's really cool. So you're seeing like a fruit of your labor a little bit more as they
Yes,
get older.
exactly.
So there's hope then.
There's always hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how has homeschooling for you changed over the years? So 8 years in, I mean, do you consider yourself an experienced homeschool mom, seasoned homeschool mom, or are things always kind of changing a little bit with that?
Well, yeah. So I think with my youngest, I feel more experienced, since I have done kindergarten. This is the fourth time. But, like you said, every child is different. So, but I feel like I've gained a lot of patience, and knowing that, if we have a day where she's not getting it, she's not into it, it's okay to put it away for a little while and come back to it later. Maybe she needs to go outside for a little bit and look at the ladybugs or something. But I feel like that part. However, as the oldest progresses, I feel like that's always changing. And that's probably my biggest challenge, is making sure that, she's where she needs to be, and,
Yeah.
just watching that progress. So,
And that you're doing enough for her. You know,
yes, exactly.
I think we can
Right.
always think, well, maybe they should just get on that yellow school bus. Things would be a lot better.
There's been many days I've
Yeah.
thought that, for sure.
Okay, good. I'm not alone.
No.
And speaking of the yellow school bus, do you think that, you have made the right decision to homeschool your children?
Without a doubt, I can say I think that we did make the right decision. And I don't have anything against our public schools or private schools. I am so thankful for them.
Mhm.
But yeah, for our family, I think, and who knows down the road what we will end up doing. But I'm just, as you said, I'm seeing the fruit of it now,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing, one of my children who really did struggle learning how to read, that she actually goes and, she goes and chooses to read when it's, she doesn't have anything else to do. She chooses to go grab a book. And that, seeing that
Mhm.
has just, it's given me a lot more peace, knowing that a lot of these things that we as parents worry about, a lot of times our kids will just amaze us when we give them the time and space to do that.
Yeah, and that is what is so good about homeschooling, is because they can kind of be more interest led,
Right.
and you can kind of see them develop what their interests are, and then also, get them books on what they're interested in, and
Exactly.
that'll help too. So,
Yeah.
and you mentioned you were in classical conversation. Is that something that you would like to talk about a little bit?
Oh, I love talking about classical conversations. Yes. So we actually, my family, this is our first year in classical conversations. However, I am not really new to the concept. I wanted to join back when my oldest was in kindergarten, and we just never did. Like, we just, I don't know why we never did, but we just it just wasn't the right time, I guess. But we I always looked at it as, oh, that's something I would love to do. It's the I always saw other families that were doing it, and their children seemed like they were learning so much, and it was great to have that accountability. And I can tell you, from so far what we've seen this year, is my children have just even more become so excited about what they're learning, and then putting it together with a community is amazing.
Mhm.
So I don't know how much you know about classical conversations, but the younger children are really just doing memory work. Well, they do a lot of things, but they do memory work, and they are just memorizing. Like, they have science memory work. So today we went for a nature walk, and our friend that was with us, that also does classical conversations, she was pointing out, oh, look, this is a dicot, this is a monocot plant. And having that accountability of other friends that are learning the same things at the same time, just has been really beautiful.
That's really cool. I think that's a great resource for anyone looking for a kind of a classical education, and also for a social time as well. They get to connect with other families. Um, so, as homeschoolers, how would you describe their socialization compared to some of the peers their own age?
Um, from what I've seen around other children, my children, they get excited about about seeing other people, no matter who it is. We could say, uh, let's say that it was a 70-year-old neighbor was coming over to our house to say hello or something. It doesn't matter who it is, they're excited to talk to other people. If we're in a group, you can see my kids talking to the little kids or the adults. They feel comfortable talking to all ages, which is, I think, is an important skill to learn. So I think that's one way that I've seen some differences.
Okay, great. And just last question, what are a few words of encouragement for any parent who is on the fence to homeschool?
I think that somebody just needed to tell me at the very beginning that, here, you can do this. You are not alone. Especially now in this time, there are so many other parents doing the same thing that you are, and there are resources available for you. Go to the groups on Facebook, or you can find information on any social media for homeschooling resources. But you can do this. No one knows your child better than you do, and no one will fight for your child the way that you will. So that's my encouragement.
That's so great. Well, I appreciate your wisdom and your encouragement today, Jennifer, and I thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Autumn.
Thank you for tuning in to the Local Homeschoolers podcast. If you would like to share your homeschool story or have a local Palm Beach County resource that you would like to share on the podcast, please reach out to us at localhomeschoolers.com.